Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is my Author's Answer video for November 2022. The Author's Answer series was started by author-tuber J.D. Archer and his writing group. It started and is mostly online on his blog, which I'll link down below, and then J.D. also answered some of the questions himself on his AuthorTube channel, so I'll link to that down below as well. These are a series of reading and writing related questions, and I have been answering them sequentially, one per month for the past several years. So I will also leave my own AuthorTube playlist down below. And anywho, this month I am up to question number 68, which is, what are some of the most unusual things you've researched for your writing? I think I have a lot of difficulty with this question. Maybe I'm too boring in what I research, or maybe I worry that I don't research enough. Although I'm not sure I can say that this month during Nano when I'm supposed to be drafting and I'm actually still doing a lot of research, so what do you know? I think I mentioned for another Author's Answer question researching manslaughter and its charges in my home state because in my novella that I wrote, one of my main characters killed his uncle in what was decreed to be manslaughter. So there's that. That might have been a you don't want people to know that you researched it, I don't know. But I figured instead of overanalyzing the specifics of this question, I'd just go ahead and talk about what I'm researching lately for my writing and what I'm using to do it. So a couple of years ago, or I think just last year, I bought this book, which I've held up a couple of times, Daily Life in Biblical Times by Oded Borowski. Which I bought for my fantasy novel because the setting is akin to, like, I'd say, I use biblical times as sort of a generic marker, although sometimes I focus more specifically on the 1st century CE and mostly Jerusalem. But I was just kind of trying to use it for a generic general marker. You know, one of the positives about writing secondary world fantasy is that you can mix and match things, and it doesn't have to be one specific time period. You can be a little more loosey-goosey. And I think I made it halfway through this book, like reading it and trying to take notes, which I guess doesn't say much. It was all very kind of dry, so there's that. And then I got distracted by other writing projects, but I guess I did it feeling kind of like it was out of duty, like that it would help me with my world building, but I never fully connected with this book, I suppose. I don't know. So I didn't get too far. But then, just at the end of last month and the beginning of this month, I read Rebel Daughter by Laurie Benov Kaufman, which is a historical fiction novel taking place in Jerusalem in the 1st century CE. And I felt immediate connection to how she was laying down her world building, especially for general household tasks that women especially would be involved in. And then there was also a lot of talk about the Holy Temple and the Temple Mount. And I think that really aligned much more specifically with what I was writing than the last book, which was more general about ancient Israel's, geography and climate or so forth. And so anyway, I really decided to take this fiction book and all of the amazing research that she did and just sort of yank it for myself. I don't know, maybe there's something to be said for, yanking research out of fiction, because if you're writing fiction that's similar. And I'm really grateful to Benov Kaufman for that, although to be a little nitpicky, it's really easy to yank out the research out of this book because I think she has way too many info dumps and thought dumps and that sort of thing. So it's really not great for the narrative purposes. It feels a little, I think, show-offy and kind of slows down the story a bit. But as somebody who is coming to this in part to try to yank out her research, she makes it very convenient. So sorry for the double-ended compliment there. So yeah, sticking with team fiction for ways of doing research, I'll finally hold up this book, which I haven't started yet, but I hope to in December. This is Wasteland, Stories of the Apocalypse. These are short stories written by famous, mostly science fiction authors like Octavia Butler and George R. R. Martin and Orson Scott Card and Stephen King and etc. And I picked this up for a short story that I wrote a draft of earlier this year, and then I want to get back to, because actually I have a deadline for an anthology coming up in February, and I had a plot problem with that book. And again, I decided, I think I did a little bit, or attempted a little bit of research online about that plot problem, and felt kind of overwhelmed, and I wasn't sure where to go with it. So then I had the idea, what if I look toward other post-apocalyptic stories, like the one I'm trying to write, and see what the, the conflicts are in their stories and how they describe basic acts of survival, and then I can maybe yoink some of their inspiration for my own. I feel like this is the classic staple of fiction writing, is the ability to steal from one another in creative, non-plagiarizing ways. So yeah, I'm excited to get to this book and to that project. It's just, right now I'm at NaNoWriMo and I'm doing my fantasy project, so putting this on the back burner for now. But yeah, maybe that does answer the question. Unusual places to do research are historical fiction novels and short stories, perhaps, because usually when you think of research, you think of the dry facts and going to the textbooks, but sometimes maybe you need something a little more dynamic to help you out, to see how, like, authors who are similar to you did it, which, I don't know, maybe that's sacrilegious to say, especially during nonfiction November, and I should find more nonfiction to hold up, but that's where I am right now. And that about covers it for me right now. So I'll go ahead and link to the Goodreads pages for the 3 books I talked about down below. You'll find me again on this channel on Sunday when I post my NaNoWriMo Week 3 vlog. And then shortly after that, within the coming week, I will post my November book haul video. It's a bit earlier than I'd usually post a book haul video in the month, but I am doing limited videos this month, so doling things out in a different sort of fashion. And I hope you'll be excited to learn more about new books. I know I'll be excited to pick them up. I have one book that I've bought so far this month, and I'm hoping to go to donate some books next week to my friends at the library bookstore, and then maybe see what they have as well. So, spoiler alerts for what's coming up next. In the meantime, we are halfway through November, which is kind of crazy to realize. I hope everyone who is doing NaNoWriMo is sticking with it. Even if you're not doing the whole 50K, sticking with a project in any capacity is just so awesome, and knowing that you have more words than you had before, everybody's a winner in that way. That's my Team Nano spirit about it. So yeah, hope you don't let the mid-month slog get you down. Keep finding your joy and keep at it. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Keep writing, and I'll see you next time.